All right, gang. I think we're back. I think most people
Hey, where are you? Get back here.
will be able to hear us just fine. Yeah, here you are. Yeah, I think that's it's probably better. It's some audio snafus on that last go, but what we were saying there at the end is that I think some regular, real conversation like this needs to happen more often, and I would love to be part of that with you. I would love to be part of that with others. Dan Moland is over at Enough Ministries is such a great dude, and he has had these types of conversations with people that are having a hard time, and a lot of the homeless. And there's a homeless population that sometimes we
don't realize.
Well, yeah, we don't realize. Sometimes we see them, but most we don't. And where they live and where they sleep, we don't see that a lot.
No, you don't see it, but they tell you about it.
And you've been homeless?
I've been homeless. I lived on slept on a park bench for a while, and then I ended up in the Good Samaritan.
Okay. How long ago was that?
About 10 years ago.
Okay. How long were you at Good Sam?
About a year.
Okay. And then, was that kind of the beginning of you transitioning out of this lifestyle into sobriety, into self-sufficiency, getting an apartment? Was that the beginning, kind of?
That was the beginning, but also, I had to think a lot about my son, too. Where he could have a place to visit me, hang out.
My picture of you.
And so I, kind of picked myself up and said, where do I go from here? What do I do?
Just one kid?
My kid, John.
Okay.
And so I did reach out. I got a hold of Washington County Mental Health.
Mm-hmm.
I got on meds. Going through the program of Sunrise, which I've been going 10 years.
Sunrise, Berry Street, Montpelier.
Yes.
Hey, let's go over there and hang out sometime.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah, Penny Martin.
Penny's amazing.
Yes, she is.
Penny, I went there quite a while ago and was streaming live and got a chance to chat with Penny and see the kitchen and see just everything they've got going on there. I mean, it's just such a fantastic organization.
Yes, it is.
Let's go over to hang out with Penny one of these days.
Well, you did that interview with Penny and Heather.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it again.
We should.
All right, that's great. I'm going to send Penny an email. We're going to make that happen.
Okay.
Okay? But, listen, I got to ask you, did you get a chance to see Brandon Carbo and I sit down?
Yes, I did.
Together?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What was your takeaway from that? Is there any hope for him?
I think there is. I met Brandon about 10 years ago. He lived next door to me, my son. He had a job. He had an apartment. And I'm telling you, when he's not in that situation, he is an amazing kid.
You mean when he's sober?
When he's sober and clean.
Okay.
He will do it. In fact, I was sitting here one day with a bunch of my family, and Brandon was here, and the guy across the street yelled to Brandon, he needed some help moving file cabinets. Brandon went right over there without even hesitating to help him. Yeah. He was clean and he was sober. And at that moment, I was proud. Everybody has it rough. Like I was telling you earlier. I've been on drugs, whiskey, vodka, beer.
You've smoked a few cigarettes, too.
Yeah. A few. I think more than a few. I think I had about 10 before I saw you. But, and like I was saying earlier, a lot of us do not know the background of some of these who are homeless or have an addiction. I started because when I was younger, I went through a lot that I didn't understand why that was happening. With the physical, sexual, mental, emotional abuse. So the only thing that I could do is do pills and stuff to get rid of that awful feeling. And I know that when I sit with my family, friends, some are homeless, some have their own place, but they still have a little bit of that addiction. A little bit of the situation is, where do I go from here?
Yeah.
And I try to help, I listen, and I think I have a lot of respect to them, and they have respect for me. I always want to be kind to them. I want to care about them. And like I was saying earlier, I saw someone last year had flip-flops on, and the straps were broken. I had just bought these new pair of sneakers. My first day wearing them. I took them off, gave them to the girl, and I walked home with socks. I have fed people. I have given them money. And my family, friends know that I can't do it all the time. And I think what it is not so much that, but I'm the person that sits and I listen. I take everything they say to my heart. And yes, sometimes it does bring back stuff that I went through. But I think what I've been through is kind of like helping them, pushing them a little bit closer and maybe trying to get help. And I want to let my friends and everything, there is help. If you don't know where to go or what route to take, ask me. I've been through it. It's one of my own family members. We got Valley Vista, Washington County Mental Health. There's places in New Hampshire, Claremont, Charlestown, Derry, New Hampshire, and other places in Mass. If you don't know how to reach out to these places, let me know. I've done it.
There's Heading United Church.
Yes.
There's Enough Ministries. There's Capstone. I mean, these are all right here within a couple 100 yards of where we're sitting right now. There's so many resources, Patty. But here's the thing. And we were talking about this earlier, is that, man, it's like no matter how many services are out there, you have to want it badly enough. You have to want sobriety badly enough. It doesn't matter how badly your friends and family want you to be successful or sober.
But you have to do it for yourself.
You have to get to the point where you want to do it badly enough for yourself. You can want to do it for yourself, but still not be able to. But you have to want it badly enough. It's got to be like you've got to find wherever that bottom is, where you're either good. Let's be frank here, okay? You're either going to die or you're going to live. And if you're going to live, what's the quality of your life going to be like? Is it going to be you're just going to continue on this path, on this dark path, which is a slow spiral to death? Are you going to overdose? Are you how long? It's not a sustainable road. How long are you going to be on it? You got off of it.
Yeah, 9 years, May 1st.
9 years.
Sometimes.
But it takes our whole life. It takes it can take a whole life to get your shit together. You know what I mean? I mean, we all have room for improvement. It's like, but the fact that you're 9 years sober, you got your life together, you're still working at it, you still are connected to the streets, and you're still connected with this community that needs so much help. Drug addicts, people that don't have jobs, people that are homeless. You're still connected to them, Gino.
And I always want to. I want to respect them. I want to love them. I want to care about them. I want to help them. I mean, I'm telling you, addiction is one of the roughest things that you can ever, overcome. I relapsed so many times, but you have to have someone there saying you can do it.
Mm.
I didn't have that. I had my son, but I didn't have the resources that I needed. And yeah, I tried to commit suicide. I'm gonna be totally honest. I don't want to sugarcoat my life and what I've been through. I burned, I've cut, I run where nobody can ever find me because I didn't know how lost I was inside of me to overcome everything that I was doing. I've hit rock bottom. But you have to sometimes pull yourself up, what do you just call it, the bootstraps, and say, hey, I want to change. I want to be the person who I want to be to show what life is really about. There is hopes, you have your dreams, but you just need a little bit of help. And I want to see this happen, and everybody tells me I have such a big heart, and I do. Not so much that, but I've been there so many times. I almost died a couple of times. And I'm telling you what, it is the scariest thing to ever experience in a lifetime.
When you come back to life?
Yes.
Were you Narcaned?
A couple of times.
Okay.
I've been in psych wards, I'm not going to lie. I've been in hospitals, and some people think, not everybody, that it might not work for them. But you have to try. Try 3 times, try 4 times, try as many times that you need.
Give yourself a little break if you do relapse.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. If you need to get away for 3 or 4 days because you relapse, call the screeners.
Washington County?
Can I give them the number?
Please.
Call the screeners, 229-0591. Talk to them. They will help you. If you need to go up to the hospital for a few days, go. Get away from everything that is bothering you. And I don't know, J.D. Green. I don't think I get frustrated, but I get concerned. Some of the people that OD'd and have died were friends of mine. I don't want to see that happen again. And being with homeless people, other people, 98% of them are great people. They show me love, they show me care, and before we all split away, we hug each other and tell each other we love them.
You sit on these steps often and have real conversations with people, which is really remarkable that you do that.
I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up on anybody. If I have to sit on this stoop for the next 3 years, I'm not giving up. I don't want to give up. People that gave up on me, and I know how it feels. I don't want to do that.
I'm so glad you are connected with Heading. I'm so glad you're connected with Pastor Ray. I got to get you guys on the air. I mean, I think the 3 of us need to sit down.
I mean,
you're dialed in tight. You know what's going on the streets, and the fact that you are testimony to that you've been there. You've been there, and you're still here. You're not running away from. You're not running away from these folks.
And I'm not gonna. And the days that, like I said, when everybody, needs to leave. They'll say, some of them call me mom, which is fine. The kids, they're in their 20s. And they'll say, you're going to be here again tomorrow, same time? Every day. Every day. I don't care if it's raining, snowing, sleeting, I'm here. And a little tidbit, JD Green, I've known you for a long time. I love you.
I love you too.
And I think what you're doing is amazing too. Not just me sitting here talking. You're putting it out there on air. And that's what people need. And I think you are one of the greatest guys I have ever met.
I think you're one of the greatest ladies I've ever met too. And God, what you're doing is remarkable. I mean, who else is doing that? I don't know. I mean, like I said, Dan Molind over at Enough Ministries has really been connected with the homeless.
And Pastor Ray.
And Pastor Ray, yes. And Josh Fortier over at Enough. I mean, great people, but we need more people like you who have been on this dark road of addiction, of homelessness, of suicide, of all of these things. And to think that you're 9 years on the clean side, I mean, you've really set such a profound example that there is hope.
There is hope.
There is hope, no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, no matter what you're currently doing, no matter how many bad decisions you're making daily, hourly, weekly, whatever. You can get rid of that label of being a scumbag, of being a crackhead. I mean, there's so many labels, man. There's so many. I mean, just open up Facebook and you'll see them all. I mean, listen, there's plenty of people that are making really bad decisions around here, and it's not just Barrie, it's Montpelier, it's everywhere. Look at Burlington, man. It's like,
you see it on the news all the time.
I'm hearing more and more people say, where Burlington is, it's right next to Vermont. I'm hearing that more often than ever before. But it's like, yeah, we got our problems in this city, but every city's got its problems. Every city has its Brandon Carbos. And, I don't know, man. I see something in that guy's eyes that it's a sad situation. I know he uses, but there's something in his eyes that tell me that
he wants it. He wants it bad enough to get off. Brandon, I've known Brandon for 10 years. He worked. He had his own apartment. He helped anybody that he could help. I do love him. I'm not going to say I don't. He was like my own kid. He came to me just to talk. Brandon, if you listen, I know you could do it, honey. I've seen you help people. I've seen you care about people. I've seen you laugh with us. Please.
Well, Brandon's got to get real with himself.
Yes.
And he's got to start seeing the light and finding a way off the road that he's on, and not just say, well, this is who I am, so this is who I have to continue to be.
But he doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to. Yeah, I know. I mean, I know that. And all of this is easier said than done. I mean, all we're saying here is a lot of 1 + 1 = 2 stuff. And I know that. I know that there's a lot more to this. And, man, we could sit and peel back the onion for weeks and weeks and weeks every day. Every state's got its problems. Every community has its problems. Every city has its problems. I met a guy yesterday who was referred to as the Brandon Carbo of Randolph. I've met a guy in Montpelier who's the same. But man, it's like there's so much good stuff going on in Barrie, and there's so much good stuff going on in this community and the outskirts of it, man. It's like, yeah, there's problems. There's problems that the state is not winning the war on drugs is something that I think Vermont and every state in the nation is losing. I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, it's like all you got to do is turn your TV on or turn your phone on, and you'll see that. I mean, it's everywhere.
It's sad.
Is it a pandemic? You bet your ass it is. You know, I just heard that Carlos Perez is going to be out of prison in a couple of weeks. He was another guy, a local guy, Montpelier, Barrie, aggressive, super aggressive panhandling, and just a lot of bad shit. And, where will he go when he's let out of prison in a couple of weeks, when he's released? Where will he go? Will we see him back here in Barrie? Will he beat somebody up right in that walk through over by Subway right across the street from us? Will he beat someone up again like he did over there? I don't know. It's are all the cameras that we're going to get here in Barrie going to bring more of this to light? I don't know.
Somebody asked me the other day, you walk the streets, you're not scared? I said, no, I'm not scared. I have my friends, my family, and they've even told me that they have my back because I show them the things that they need. They need love, they need caring, they need kindness, they need even just a little bit of help to get them through the day.
Mm-hmm.
I ran into a girl last week, right down here by the library. Yes, she's an addict. We stood there probably 15, 20 minutes talking, had a cigarette, and she was coherent, and it was awesome to see.
Mm-hmm.
So after we got done talking, we hugged each other. She cried on my shoulders. And I don't know if it was so much that she felt that love from me, or if she's crying because she knows she needs the help.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe a little bit of both.
Yes. A little bit of help and hope goes a long way, in my eyes. And like I said, even if I have to sit here, months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, I'm not going to let them down. I'm here. Talk to me. Just sit. We can tell stories. We can laugh, tell jokes. They're here. And it gets them away from this. The fear, maybe within themselves. The loss they have inside themselves. I've been there. On park benches. And I'm not going to lie, I stole. I never broke into any businesses or houses. I would walk into a store, grab something to eat when no one was looking, grab a water. I'm not going to deny it.
Mm-hmm.
It is very hard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not condemning anybody. I don't do that. I don't judge. I'm just here. And I want to be here. My choice. I don't have to be here, but it's my choice to be here, to help. Even if it's just the littlest thing. A year ago, there was a family going by. I don't know if they were homeless. I don't judge. And I'm sitting here. The little boy is about 4 years old, and he was in footy pajamas. Adorable. I was sitting there having an iced coffee and eating a donut, and he's standing there going like this, looking at me. I put my stuff down. I went into the smoke shop, apple juice and donuts, and gave them to that little boy. He came over, sat with me, and we had breakfast.
That's the real deal right there.
Now, I don't know if they were homeless, or maybe he was just hungry. A child. And like I said, I'm not rich. I'm not by means. I'm on disability. But if I have it, I want to try. Feed them. I gave another kid a couple of years ago. I just bought my son a brand new pair of sneakers, and of course, Mama got the wrong size. I had them in my backpack, and I was on the way to the Dollar General to return them and get my money back. Another kid I know came over, sat with me, and said, "Hi, Mom, how's it going?" Was smoking a cigarette. I looked down, and he had just about nothing left of his sneakers. I asked him what size he took. 10. The sneakers were 10 and a half. Took them on my bag, said, "Here. Now you put those on, take those ratty ones off, and go throw them in the trash." You know, and it's not the big things that make these people feel good. It's the littlest things that somebody can do for them.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they do show me a lot of respect. And I love that because I show them. I don't, look at it or say I'm better than them because I'm not. I'm human.
Yeah.
Just like everybody else. I'll be here.
That's what an attitude. I mean, what a perspective to live. I mean, I think more of us need to think like that, need to believe, not just think like that, but really need to believe what you just said, like in their soul.
Well, they have to believe in themselves too. You know,
you and I are not trying to say that we're being real in that we know that there's a population here in our city that is making bad decisions.
Yes.
Personal bad decisions,
yes.
Using drugs, breaking into places, panhandling, causing harm, causing stress.
I hear it all the time, JD.
Yeah.
All the time.
Is Berea, in your opinion, is it a safe city to walk around?
I walk around every day and I do feel safe because I know, like I said, my family that sit here with me every day,
mm-hmm.
They have my back
mm-hmm.
because of what I'm doing for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they told me that. They said, "Gino, you walk up and down the street, you see us, we do that little, can I show you? Yes.
Yeah.
Love you, brother."
Yeah.
And it can be amazing for these people. Just go by, shake their hand, anything. Let them feel there are people out there that care and love them. And maybe it might be in the right step for them. Because maybe they don't feel that. And that's why they're giving up.
When Carbo walked into the studio, he extended his hand to me and looked at the ground. And I said, no. Doesn't work like that, man. You extend your hand to somebody.
You look at them.
Look me in the eye.
Yeah.
And he did, but he'd only look at me in the eye for a second, and then he'd look back down again.
My relative asked me that if he was using that day, and I said, I'm not there. I'm not going to condemn. I'm not going to judge because I don't have that right.
Mm-hmm.
He went on there and said what he had to say. And Brandon, I hope, and pray that you do the stuff that you said you wanted to do.
Yeah.
It's, and I'm not gonna push him away. When he sees me down the street, he says, "Hey, Mom," comes over and gives me a hug. Did that make my day or did that make his day?
It's a good question.
Does it make anybody's day when they come up to me and do that little, show, "Hey, brother, how's it going? Is it real? How's it real?" You know?
I believe, Gino, that there's hope for anybody, no matter what their story is, what their past is, what they're doing right now, what they're doing, probably what they're going to do tomorrow. I mean, even if it's bad decisions.
But that can happen to anybody, even me. I can wake up tomorrow morning and say, oh, I need a drink. It could be anybody. I mean, like we were talking, I did an interview with, I think it was Bernie Sanders years ago on TV, and about me being in the homeless shelter. And I was there. And I said to him, yes, and I said to him, you know what? It could happen to anybody, a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, a judge, anybody.
No matter what your socioeconomic class is.
That's right.
We're all human beings.
And we make mistakes.
We all have the ability to get addicted to anything.
Yes.
Gambling, sex, drugs.
You weren't going to say rock and roll, were you?
I'm addicted to rock and roll. That's a whole nother podcast. Yeah, it's right, though. And we try to teach our kids, Sweethearts and Heroes is going to be on with me on Wednesday. I can't wait to chat with them. But we try to teach our kids, get addicted to something that's good for you. Even if it's, you want to see kids addicted. Go some Saturday or Sunday up to Bokeh Brothers Motocross up in North Barnett, and you'll see little kids that are addicted to dirt bikes and motocross and getting dirty and having fun and getting hurt and getting back up and swinging the leg back up.
That sounds like me when I was growing up.
Wow, shit, still is me, and I'm 54. But it's like, teach our kids to get addicted to something that's good for them, even if it's a little bit of adrenaline, That's what I did with my son when he was little. And... Listen, Gino, we're not going to save everybody. You're not going to save everybody. The heading church isn't going to save everybody in our community. What if we at least save one? That's it. That's exactly it. Baby steps. You want to see someone in your family here in the city of Barrie have a fulfilled life.
Yes.
That has turned around and seen the light like you have. You want to see just one.
Just one.
2 if you're lucky.
That's right.
3 would be a massive victory. That's what you're doing with Pure Ministries, with the heading church.
Yes.
But outside of the church, even if the church didn't exist, that's still what you're doing.
Yes.
No matter what. Because
I started doing it before I became a member.
Yeah. See, you're doing that because you're alive.
Yes.
That's the bottom line. You don't have a church or anyone telling you that you need to do this. You're doing this because it's who you are. It's something that's primal to you.
And it's deep in my heart. When I walk, I don't live that far. But when I come around this corner, I say, I wonder if my family's here. I wonder if they need me today.
I wonder if I'm going to lose another one.
I'm going to lose another one. And there was
how many friends? How many have you lost?
Well, I think I knew about 4 of them that have passed in the last couple of weeks. And I tried to help. I talked. I even let a couple of them come and clean my house. It didn't matter to me that they were at an addiction or they were homeless. Mm-hmm. Come to me. I'll give you something to do. Mm-hmm. Yes, I gave them some money. I gave them money because they helped me. Mm-hmm. What they did with the money afterwards, I don't know. But it made me feel good in my heart and in my soul. I was able to do that. And I'm being real.
I know you're being real. We need more people like you. But we also need to, as parents, as business owners, we also need keep our eyes wide open.
Yes.
We need to protect ourselves.
That's right.
We need to protect our family. And we need to be aware of
our surroundings, anywhere we go.
Our surroundings, yeah. No matter what city you're in, man.
That's right.
I don't give a damn.
I
don't care if you're in Stowe. You know.
I grew up
you know where
Mass.
Stowe is. Yeah, you grew up in Mass. You know, and you know where Stowe is.
Yeah.
It's right next to Vermont.
I know. Been there. I saw things when I was younger too. I mean, but sometimes you look at it and say, how do you really overcome this? I sit here sometimes if nobody's here and just look around. And I just wonder why, wow. And sometimes I don't have anything to say.
Yeah.
I would just look around and keep an eye on my peeps. And just, I really don't know much more what I can say, JG. I think I've said what was from my heart. Pastor Ray, after service yesterday, sat down with me, held my hand, and we said a prayer for today. One day at a time. If it only takes one day at a time, try it.
And if just this one conversation with you and I can impact, or even have a slight impact on one person, that's all I care about.
Me too. I'm not here to focus on myself or get any glory out of this or any praise. I don't know. It's not about me. Yes, I told my story, but now it's not about me anymore. It's about everyone else. And a lot of them do not know my story because I listen to them. Mm-hmm. It's their turn, not mine. Mm-hmm. I had that.
You can say to so many people, been there. I attempted suicide. Been there. I'm homeless. Been there.
Scars. Burning. Been there. I mean, I got a couple scars up here from knives. Been there.
You're a cutter.
Yes. And a burner. And I haven't done it in a long time, and I mean, who's to say I can wake up, like I said, tomorrow and say I need a drink? Or something is so bad that I might end up burning myself again. But then I have to look at it like, I'm not a bad person because I did that.
Right.
I did it because you get so overwhelmed in your mind. It's like walking in a cloud. And I think a lot of the people around here, the homeless, is doing that. They're walking in a cloud.
Yeah.
Going, which way do I go? Do I go left or do I go right? I mean, right, left. The road less traveled. Robert E. Frost, one of my favorites. Which road do you take?
I hear so many people say so often that God puts certain people in certain places at certain times for certain reasons. I think you're an example of that.
Thank you. Well, a friend of mine goes, I think God put his hand on you and this is your calling. I said, well, I was busy. I hope you left me a message. That was my best friend, Pat.
Gino.
And I answered.
Love you.
Keep it real, brother.
You're amazing. Let's do this again, okay?
Yes, we will.
Please.
Okay.
These real conversations, we need to have more of them. Let's do it.
All right, I love you, dude.
Love you, too.